Hey y'all, welcome to the Toadstead. Well, we're out here working on the new bench, and we're going to have a lot of 12-volt lighting. I should say a lot more. We have some on site now, both in the Airstream and out here in the shop. But in our learning, what we want to do, we're going to have to do a few experiments. And you sort of came in the middle of one. And, well, this was the first of the two I'm going to make for experiment. Now, what you're looking at here is a piece of 3/4 inch PVC. I don't know, it's probably about 5 inches long. I didn't measure, it's just a piece of scrap I had laying around. And this one here is just 1/2 cut, finished, and the other one has been painted with a high gloss paint. And what this test is going to be is just whether A, the concept works, or B, if not only does this reflect because of its shape, but does it reflect better when it's painted. Now what I'm using are 5 by 5 millimeter LEDs. These are what we have. If you've seen previous videos, this is what we have in the Airstream, overhead lighting, and some spotlighting. In fact, one of these is going to end up the spotlight. Well, both of them for the test, but this is made is for one of the spotlights. And we also have approximately 3 meters of it up on the overhead here in the shop. And this will tell me when it comes time to put up the other probably 30 meters that are going to go up there, whether we're going to go through the trouble of doing this. And if we're going to go through the trouble of doing this, which is a pretty easy way to make the shades, if it's better to have the straight PVC or to go ahead and paint it. Nickels and dimes. So that's PVC. These are the LEDs, and they come in a strip. Very, very inexpensive. In fact, here I have a couple of boxes of them. And these are the non-waterproof ones. And I've got some of the waterproof ones. That's a whole nother test. There's quite a bit of LED stuff coming up as we go along. But what I'm going to do is basically make one of these that I've already got prepared, but I'm going to do it in the one that's already painted. Go ahead and strip back a little bit more wire than I need, just because this wire has been sitting for a while and the end could have oxidated. So I want nice clean wire. Now, just for the record, they do make, and you can purchase, little pieces that automatically make this connection I'm fixing to make. But just being somewhat of a cheapskate and just don't want to buy stuff, I'm going to go ahead and do this by hand. There we go. These are actually, they can be kind of a pain in the butt, but I kind of prefer it to mess around with those clips on the end, because once they're on, man, they are on there, usually. Now, these have a peel and stick on the back, and we'll stick it in there. Push. Now, especially because this one's painted, I don't trust just that. So we're going to take a little hot glue. Put a nice glob there where our connection is. And then we're going to put another one at the other end. And then before I do this, let me show you. Might actually be a little easier to show you on the on this exposed bit. If you see every 3 LEDs, there's a pair of copper contacts, and this is where you cut them. Just an everyday pair of scissors, and you can basically cut them to length. And that is an exposed electrical connection right there. And because I want all the adhesion I can get, I'm going to put a little bit more glue right in the middle. And there we go. Now we have one that's painted, and I have glue threads fouling my hands over here. There we go. We have one that's painted, one that's not painted. Other than that, they're completely identical. So now the fun part is we're just going to go install them, and we'll run them side by side. And if I get lucky, I might be able to find a way to do that here on the bench first, but we'll see. Okay, well, kind of common sense let me know I did have a 12-volt source. Any of you ham radio operators over there will recognize the Armstrong power system. So I've got them both wired in. Like I said, they're both identical, even down to within being a ½ inch or so of the same amount of wire. The only difference between the two is one has the paint on it and the other one doesn't. So let's fire them up. Well, as you might be able to see, really can't tell a big difference. But what we're looking for is reflected light. So let me turn this off. And let's see if we can find a way to test that. Hey, we'll give this a whirl. This is the book that Little Bit is reading. Yep, she's studying her founding fathers. Let's see if there's any difference in the reflected light, how it lights up our book here. Okay, let's try spreading them apart just a little bit more. Well, as you can clearly see, just to the, just to the, as you're looking at the screen, to the left of Mr. Hamilton's face is definitely has more reflected light coming out of it than the right side. We move it around here, you can see that white streak. There it is across his face, moving back and forth. That's this one here. So, what does that tell us? Turn that off. That our painted PVC puts out a dramatically larger amount of reflected light. And as we're building lights for area lighting, this is what it's all about. So thanks for coming along for the ride, and we'll get these installed in the trailer. We'll still use them, but now we know in the near future we'll be going full size. Hey, thanks a lot. We'll see you next time. And there it is hanging. How's that working for you?
It works nice.
Excellent. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next time around.